Hi friends, Mindy here. Today I'm going to be sharing some printables with you. These are from the Junk Journal Studio. Michelle over there has created these beautiful printables. Those first two pages were actually part of a freebie that you can get on her Ko-fi shop. And then these others are part of an add-on to her Botanical Collage Cluster and Mega Pack. So this is the blue add-on. And I only have a few of those pages printed out. These are some large files. They have a lot of pages and a lot of options for you. I just was only able to get my printer to cooperate just a little bit. So I managed to get some of them printed, and that's what I'm going to be working with today. So I have these beautiful collage pages. These again are part of the freebie. They're just beautiful. And what I'm going to do is trim off the white edge of these, and I'm going to be making some ephemera with these today. So I'm going to start with this blue one. I have some journals in mind that I'm going to be making, and so I need to have some ephemera for those. And so I'm going to start with this blue one. I'm using a Yoo-hoo glue stick. I'm just going over the entire collage thing because I'm going to make this into some pieces of ephemera. And I am actually adhering this to like some parchment paper. Well, it looks like parchment paper, but it's just a printed like scrapbooking paper. This has just been in my stash forever. It's a 12 by 12. So I am going to have a little bit of excess, and that's fine. Just trim those off and do something with that as well. So I'm just pulling my trimmer out. I'm going to trim this down. And then that long strip that's over on the side, I will actually turn that into a couple of tags. I'm actually going to make 2 journaling cards out of this paper, and then 1 little tag, and these will go in my journals. So my journals don't tend to be like super large. I kind of like 5 by 7-ish. So I don't need, the kind of full half sheet kind of size of ephemera. But I'm just going to go through here, and I have some main images that I want to use as sort of the focal images for these. I'm using my We Are Memory Keepers punches here. I am rounding the corners on these 2 because these are going to be the journaling cards, and then I'm going to use the one that cuts like the angle for the tag for this other little piece here. You can certainly do this with, just a pair of scissors and an old credit card, kind of make a template, but that little punch is just super helpful. I'm getting a lot of use out of that. So anyway, I have a few images here over to the side. I'm just going to try to match them up as best as I can. And you'll see me kind of fiddle with these throughout. And then I'm also just sort of pulling out things that I want to use. So I'm pulling from this mega pack again. This is the blue add-on. So there's a blue, a red, and a yellow add-on. And then there's the neutral and green. So I have this from the blue that I'm working with today, and I'm going to distress all the edges of everything with archival ink and ground espresso. I do that because I don't want my glue to somehow cause that to smear or whatever, because archival ink is permanent as opposed to using something that's like distress or whatever. I just like the fact that it's permanent. So I'm going to use one of these pages. I believe that one was from the red pack actually. It's one of the pages that has like the collage strips on it, and there's just a lot that you can do with these mega packs, and there are so many pages of printables in there that it is really a good deal. So I will put her Etsy shop link down below in the description. If you are interested, be sure to check out all of the beautiful printables that Michelle has over there. And then again, this is the Botanical Collage Cluster Mega Pack, and then all of its coordinating add-ons. And I believe that even she has plans for future add-ons as well in some other colors. So you can always have them coordinating. I love that she does like different sizes of some of the images, just so you really have a lot of versatility. So the actual like background pages are what I have sort of torn up here, and I'm using just as little background pieces here, which is a lot of the times what I'll do with the full page pieces, because I don't tend to create a journal where you take an 8.5 by 11 and fold it in half. I tend to use those more for backgrounds on other things. So that's kind of what I'm doing here. And then I just really love how that yellow popped off of there. And then this little label that says botany on it. I just loved the font of that one. So I am going to glue down this little red piece as well, just to give some interest to the background here. And then I have this one that's like a little seed packet, which I just thought was so cute. I really liked how that one came together. And I may still, you know, as I'm creating the journals, I may still come in and add a sentiment or a word or something like that. I'm giving myself the space to do that. You'll see me kind of fiddling with this one. I thought I was going to use that one floral, and then I changed, and then I changed again, and I ended up using this one. I really liked this image of this girl and all the colors kind of together on it. And so I pulled out one of the other pages. I think this one was actually from the green and neutral pack. And I apologize if I can't remember exactly. There's so many pages. And I have them printed, and then I tear off the labels, and I can't remember which pack they came from, but I'm pretty sure that was the yellow or the green and neutral. And then I have that little image with that sweet girl, and then this little hexagon label. I really love that she did that this time too with the hexagons. I just kind of a fun different shape that just adds some interest on there. So after I had glued this down, I did let this dry for a little bit before cutting into it, just because I didn't want the paper to tear. So now that this has dried, I'm going to cut into this. So I'm going to basically cut this in half, half-ish down lengthwise, and then I'm going to turn this into some tags, and actually I end up with some pockets as well, just because of the size of the tags and things that I am creating. I really just love, it's just a beautiful like pre-made background that has a lot of interest, a lot of just texture and everything. I love this blue color as well. So I'm using a big circle punch here just to cut out the little thumb notch at the top, and then I will round those corners again with my We Are Memory Keepers corner rounder. And you could do all four corners. I just kind of like to do the top two. And then on the other pieces, I'm going to create the little tags. And then I find it helpful when I'm creating a lot of ephemera at once to sort of lay everything out, especially when like you're working in a series like this where everything is from the same pack, or your substrate is kind of similar. So I pulled out all of the sort of main images that I wanted to use, and then I pulled out some accent things to go along with it, and then I'm kind of now sort of fiddling with the placement of them. So I really loved this butterfly and how that just kind of popped off that blue background, and I wanted to add some book text back there, but I'm making sure, because it's hard to tell on camera, but there's like a couple little butterflies in the background of this paper, and so I wanted to make sure that I was not covering those up with that book paper, but just giving this some interest. And again, once these go in my journal, I may add some ribbon or a topper or something like that that coordinates with the journal. But for right now, I'm kind of leaving that open. And then I really loved this bird as well. I especially loved the ones that kind of mixed all of the colors together. So this has some of those yellows and things in it. And then these other pages are just kind of labels that I'm adding on here. And again, everything was inked with that archival ink. Just trying to make some clusters. So this is going to be one of those pockets. And then I'm working on this tag here and just gluing everything down, trying to decide where I want this. I kind of liked this label up at the top, but the problem was it just creates this kind of space that's kind of trapped right there. And so anytime I have a situation like that, that bothers me visually. So that's why I sort of move this over to the opposite side, because there were some images in that focal image that I wanted to keep. Like there was some interesting numbers and that kind of stuff, and I didn't want to cover them up. So this one is kind of that same thing. That was my husband's hand. If you have watched my video, my hubby Dub's videos, you know he's silly, so he was saying hi to everybody. And I just thought it would be funny to leave that in. So anyway, that was my husband. He says hello. Moving on to the next tags, just simply gluing everything down at this point. And I kind of went through the process of staging everything off camera just to make that a little bit easier, that process, because like I said, there's so many pieces and so many different ways that you can go with it that I am trying to just be mindful of giving myself kind of a cluster, but also giving myself just a little bit of room if I decide to, down the road, I want to add something else. So these are what my pieces end up looking like. They're a little bit curved because of the glue. I will set those under some heavy books and they will be just fine once everything has really dried well. But that is everything for today. So be sure to check out Michelle's shop. If you like this video, here are some close-ups. I would appreciate it if you gave it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And until next time, bye.